Hello everyone, a big virtual hug to you all. In this video we are going to build this to-do list with the help of REDUX toolkit. If I click here, then we have alert here, enter a task before adding. Okay, if I write here, for example, learn REDUX toolkit and click on this add button, then we have a task here. If I click on this tick or maybe the check button, then this task is in the completed list and removed from the incomplete list. If I write here, for example, learn REDUX, click on add button, and if I click on this cross, then it removes from the incomplete list. Okay, we are going to build this basic project with the help of REDUX toolkit. So let's dive into the code. This is just a React app I created, and if I open the package.json file, I just install some dependencies, the font awesome, the REDUX toolkit, and the sass, nothing much more. Okay, so first of all, now just clear up the project hierarchy. Convert this from CSS to SCSS, and in the main.jsx, just write here S. Okay, just remove this code, we don't need this, and also this code, like that. Okay, we are done with the hierarchy. I just copy and paste the sass code because I don't want to waste time in the styling, so I just copy and paste the code. Okay, I just paste this. This is the sass code for this project. Now in the source folder, create a folder, name components, and two more folders. The first one is reducers and the second one is the store, REDUX store basically. Now just close this. In the components, create two files, to do input.jsx, and the second file is to do list.jsx. Okay, now in the input.jsx, just write functional component, and here also, and call this in the app.jsx, and the second one is to do list, like that. Now first go to input.jsx, remove this, and write here first of all a form with the class name of to do input. Inside this input, placeholder is add a task here. After this we have a button, type is submit, class name button, and button default. Okay, and inside this button we have a font awesome plus icon, plus this one. Just close this. Look, we have button here. We are done with this input.jsx. Just refactor the code. Now go to do list.jsx, and here inside this div, just write ul with the class name of to do list, and inside this ul we have li, and its class name is to do list item. Then we have a paragraph, for example, write here incomplete task. After that we have a div with the class name of to do list options, and inside this we have a span, and inside this span we have font awesome icon, and the icon is fa check, and the second span is font awesome icon, and icon is fa times. We have these two icons here. Look, we have this ul and we have second ul after this, and inside this ul we have li. This ul also have a class name of to do list, and this li has class name of to do list item. Inside this we have div with the class name of to do list options, and a span with the font awesome icon, and the icon is FA check. To-do list, and the second class name is to-do list completed. And here we have one more class which is complete. Okay, remove this div from this li and write here p tag which is completed task. We have this structure here for the to-do list. Go to app.jsx and here write div and the class name is to do and the id is app. Look, we have all the stylings here, and right here for example in h1 and give it a class name of title, and right here to do list with Redux toolkit, like that. We are done with all the components. Now it's time to dirty our hands with the Redux toolkit. So there are 5 steps which we learned in the previous video. The step 1 is create Redux slice. So here I write for example to do slice.jsx. How we can create slice? Import create slice, and after that write here const name of the slice. For example we have to do slice and create slice. This is a function which contains an object, and the name is for example to do's. Second is the initial state. We have an empty array. Why we take empty array here? Basically we have a lot of tasks here. For example we have learn react one task. For example the second task is go to grocery store. The second task, the third task is for example learn Redux toolkit. These are 3 tasks, so all the tasks will be stored in the array. Okay, so after this we have reducers, and inside this reducers we have all the functions here, or maybe in the Redux toolkit we call it as actions. The first action is add task. It takes state, the current state. This is the current state basically, and actions, and right here const new task, and inside this we have an id and new date. We have this new date. After this we have name and actions.payload.task. After this just push this state in the array, like that. This is the one function. Now we have second function is delete task. Same state and actions, and inside this just return state dot filter. What we have to filter? We have an item inside the array, item dot id not equal to actions dot payload dot id. We have third function here, toggle tasks. This function ensures that if we click on this check button, then this task move from incomplete list to complete list. Okay, this is the responsibility of this function. So here we have state and actions. Inside this we have to do and state dot find. What this function finds? An item basically with the id and actions dot payload. If it finds, then to do dot completed equal to not to do dot completed. Now we have all the 3 functions here. The first one is the add task, then we have delete task, then we have toggle task here. After this just export these functions. The first thing add task, then delete task, then toggle task here. To do slice dot actions. What is the error here? Basically this is the error. I remove this arrow function. After this just export default to do slice dot reducer. Refactor the code. We are done with the slice. Which slice? The to do slice. Okay, now in the store just create a new file and write here for example to do store.jsx. and inside this we have just a store. How we can configure store? Right here, configure store and export const store, configure store, and inside this we have reducer and name of the reducer. For example, we have tasks and to do reducer here. Just import the slice here, import to do reducer from reducers and to do slice, like that. Okay, our store is completed. We configure our store. Now go to main.jsx and here just wrap your app component inside the provider, and inside this we have a store. And which store? This store which we just created here. Wrap your app component. That Redux store is connected with the app. Now inside this input.jsx, right here first of all state value and set value, use state, and this is an empty string. After that just dispatch our function here with the help of use dispatch hook. Write here a function for submitting the form. It takes an event and write here on submit and here on submit. First thing inside this, we just prevent it from reloading. When we click on the add button, if value dot trim dot length is equals to 0, then alert enter a task before adding and just return from this if statement. After that just dispatch add task function here, and the task is just value, and set value here as empty string. And in the input field we have two more fields here. First is value, which is value, and the second is name as content, and the third is on change. It takes an event and set value here e dot target dot value, like that. Now our input component is completed. Yes, we can write here, and it is not refreshing the page. If I click here, then we have an alert here. Now go to to-do list and here just write const dispatch and use dispatch, and after that write here const to do use selector hook, and it takes the state and state dot tasks, which tasks basically go to store, and these tasks here. Okay, write here this and just return this, like that. After that we have const remove task here, and it takes an id as a parameter, and dispatch delete task here, and id is takes an id here. Write here const remove task id, and inside this dispatch delete task function here, and inside this just write here an id. And the second function is const toggle complete task. It also takes an id, and dispatch toggle task here, and an id here. Now inside this ul just write curly braces and to-dos dot filter. Why we have to filter this? Because when we click on the completed check button, then task move from incomplete list to complete list. Okay, so that's why we use filter here. To do and not to do dot completed, and after this just write map function here, and to do parenthesis, and wrap this li inside the map function, like that. Each child in a list should have a unique key. Okay, here just write key and to do dot id, and inside this ul write same thing here, to do's dot filter to do, and here to do dot completed, and just map function write here completed task, and wrap this li inside this map function. Instead of this incomplete task, write here to do dot name. Why we write name here? Because if you go to slice, then we have name here. And here, instead of completed task, write here completed task dot name, and here write completed task dot id, like that. If I write here React, click on this, look, we have React here. If I click on this check button, nothing happens. Why this check button is not working? Because I don't specify here function on click, and here it takes a callback function and toggle completed task, and inside this we have to do dot id, and inside this span we have on click, also a callback function, and remove task here, and same to do dot id. Now again, if I write here for example learn Redux toolkit and click on this add button, look, we have learn Redux toolkit here. If I click on this cross, then it removes. Again, write here learn Redux and click on this add button, look, and if I click on this check button, then it removes from incomplete list and move to complete task here. This is the second project we built with the help of Redux toolkit, and we learn here Redux toolkit more deeply. So that is for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.